Back in session with Professor P, Chapter 1, Archaeology. It's very important to sort of understand when we look at archaeology, we have to understand it's a scientific field. It's a scientific study of the past. We want to look at ancient behavior. We want to reconstruct culture, right? By using all those material remains like artifacts or ecofacts or fossils or things like that we're going to get into, okay? If some of you want to follow along with the concept sheet, they're in your Canvas shell just to help you along. I sort of go over them. Like I said, I don't go over every term because you got to look up some stuff, but it really makes it easier. You don't really have to ever turn these in. They're for your own use, but most of my students love them. Back to archaeology. It's a scientific study. We want to understand behavior. We want to reconstruct culture. What were people really doing in the past, right? Jean Champollion, he was the one for deciphering the Rosetta Stone. Let's get to the Indiana Jones myth. How many of you have seen Indiana Jones? You've seen Jurassic Park. You've seen all these movies based on archaeology, and they're all unfortunately a myth. I really don't have the hat with a leather whip, right? That's just not how it works. We really take this as a myth, and it's really false. It ends up, but let me tell you, what's quite interesting is when the Indiana Jones movies came out, college institutions around the United States enrollment for archaeology skyrocketed. People really thought this is what the field of archaeology is about. And it is fun. You do adventure, right? You do certain things, but really, I'm not Indiana Jones, right? However, we have to really decipher the myth because that myth laid a lot of foundation for sort of the negative aspects in the beginning for archaeology, right? Instead of us, until we sort of turned it around and said, wait a minute, this is really scientific. This is something that is really important to understanding humans in the past. All right, let's get to it. Africa, starting out with the cradle of humanity, Darwin. Darwin said this was the cradle of humanity. This is where we were all from. All right. The 3 H systems, stone, bronze, and iron. And we'll get into that later on in the semester, but they're sort of giving you the introduction to that. All right. Uniformitarianism is really an ideology. It's really a theoretical approach where this sort of ideology says that Earth really came about because of natural processes that formed. Things like fossil remains and understanding the mammoths by looking at the natural processes that sort of shaped us and shaped the Earth. All right, the fun stuff, Neanderthal. Neanderthal was quite interesting. Neanderthal lived during the Middle Stone Age, between like 300,000 and 40,000 years ago. A lot of the fossils date back to around 200,000 years ago. Neanderthal had a big brain, 1,400 cc's, right, in the brain, cranial capacity. We have between 1,300 and 1,500. We have one of the biggest brains. There was really no chin for Neanderthal. Neanderthal was sort of robustus, right? But that was really what they're talking about, is introducing sort of understanding the culture of the time. Homo erectus, right before Homo sapien, we're Homo sapiens sapiens, right? Homo erectus lived about 1.6 million years ago. Homo erectus literally means erect ape man. From the neck up, very ape-like. From the neck down, very human-like, all right? Homo erectus is quite interesting. Homo erectus was known for a lot of stuff. Fire, controlling fire. The debate is, did they control it? Did they make it? The hand axe. Imagine early on, it was like stone tools. Now it's like, okay, we're smart enough to get a piece of wood and then put, right, metal on it and make a hand axe, right? These are the kind of things they talk about with Homo erectus. Australopithecus and Australopithecines we're going to get to later on in the semester. There's 6 species divided into 2, gracile and robust. Afarensis was the one truly important to our understanding of our sort of evolutionary chart. In archaeology and in anthropology itself, we never debate evolution in science. We still know religion is highly important. So don't ever think I'm saying this happened without this happening. No, these things can happen in correlation with one another. So we don't even do that debate here. Australopithecines we're going to get back to, but Afarensis was really considered to be part of our genus, which we're going to get to. All right, direct historical approach. This is where they're using sort of archaeological techniques, excavation, things like that, to work backwards in time. They're trying to link like the ancient with the modern, all right? Historical materialistic approach is really cool because that approach, the historical materialistic approach, really wants to analyze things like gender and women and how did we understand in the past that there was social inequality or things like racism, right? Really, we want to look at sort of humans in negotiation, humans in the midst of change, right? How do we understand gender roles in ancient cultures? What were women and men doing, right? All of these things are sort of laying the foundation of what we're going to talk about in the future of this class. All right, read chapter 1, go over some of the good terms in it, right? If some of you have never taken an anthropology course, I want to also go over that. You could also go into my cultural anthropology YouTube videos where it says introduction and look at the introduction there, because it will go over the 5 fields of anthropology. We have 5 fields of anthropology. We divide them up. Archaeology is one of those fields, but really anthropology in general, what it means, it's a Greek word. It means the study of man, right? That's it. We study man in all aspects, biologically, culturally, archaeologically, right? That's a huge part of what we do. We study us. The thing we know least about is us. All right, I hope you have a great day. Professor P is out. I'll see you for chapter 2. Have a great day. Bye.